This summer, I began a journey. I left my home on Vancouver Island, traveled 7,798 kilometers across the country, and arrived in Mi'kma'ki to attend the Indigenous Perspectives on Resource Management Field School. When we set out, I was excited to meet new people and learn as much as I could. But in all honesty, part of me wondered whether Mi'kmaq people would even want to talk to us. That is because I, like many others, am a descendant of the early settlers to these shores. Growing up, I listened to my grandfather tell the stories of our family's journey. I heard him talk about the working conditions in the British factories and about the poverty that my ancestors left behind in 1770. I learned about how they came to the newly formed colony of Nova Scotia and about how they ended up farming in Windsor. I understood how there were opportunities and resources for my ancestors to build businesses, raise families, and prosper. Elder Albert Marshall told us that there is always more than one way to see every story. Yet nowhere in any of my family stories was there ever any mention of the Mi'kmaq people who lived on the land before the British did. There was no mention of the relationships with the Mi'kmaq people which enabled the British colonists to succeed, or of the peace and friendship treaties that were signed by the Crown. There was no mention of the expulsion of the Mi'kmaq from their traditional territories, or of the implementation of the reservation system. There was no mention of whether Indigenous people had rights to resources or title to lands. Clifford Paul explained to us that everything in our world wants to be a circle, and that the things we do today will come back around in our futures. The journey that I have taken this summer has brought me back full circle to the place where my settler descendants first arrived in this country. But this time, I have been given the opportunity to see more than one side of the story. Taking the Indigenous Perspectives Field School, being in Mi'kma'ki, and learning from the Mi'kmaq people, I've received a more balanced education, and I now have the tools to move into the next stage of my journey. For that, I am grateful.
Still